We are Borg, and we are back. It's a good time, really. We're gonna go and get this party underway once again. Apparently, according to my encoders, like, we're running a little bit high on the CPU cycles there. A-Spec, I'm just like, shut your mouth and continue encoding. Regardless, we are back. I've installed the sub mod, the Borg GUI mod, and actually looks pretty damn swanky, not gonna lie. We're currently in the process of assimilating the Krenim. I did a parallel game as well where I waited a little bit longer to actually go for an assimilation somewhere else, and at least for a couple of natives, etc. And basically it turned out that I was way too late with my assimilation in general of the Krenim, and they kind of ran out of control. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assimilate all their core planets, leave their capital alone so they can expand a little bit later on, and then we'll just assimilate the rest. So that's basically the idea here. I also have a bunch of warriors ready to go, a bunch of armies. We're going to go and send that out to this here little shithole. 35 on here, so 35 implements for this cost. And on the surface, we got a bunch of natives. We're going to go and bring those into the fold within the collective. Now, is this canon? No. Why would the collective ever want to add a species to them that will not bring them closer to perfection? So we're just going to pretend that they have something that we want and take it from there. One thing that you may also have noticed is that we are racing through the tech tree like absolute mad, like a man on fire, not like the girl on fire. No, not Katniss Everdeen herself. No. We are not going to go down that part this particular time. But still, you know, we're doing well. I'm pretty happy with the entire sit rep, even though we cannot colonize anything within the game. Vessel 0484 has been fully repaired. Thank you, Vessel 8404. And we have set everything to automatic exploration. Now, what I know is that this is the Krenim, this is the Borg, which means that the Vaadwaur need to be up here somewhere. Kazon Sex, by the way, we're not gonna assimilate the Kazon Sex. Why would we push back our perfection, so to speak? But I'm really looking forward to get some spheres up and running. So right now we're building a fleet, or at least a station right here. It's going to be done, well, right around now. We can't add any modules yet, sadly, but considering its total fleet power, we should be able to control stuff quite well. Rogue drones. An imperfect code loop has been discovered by too late. I know the modders are watching this, and guys, please double check your grammar. Several million drones from Unicomplex 01 have disconnected themselves from the primary collective interface and left the Borg collective for an unknown system. Operating on the fringe of our space, these deviants are responsible for several attacks against our resource extraction operations. Their activities must not be allowed to continue. We must bring them back into the collective or terminate them. They will be given a perfection again. Yeah, that's it's basically the pirate variant that the Borg have. We're gonna go and try to build a couple of additional ships if we can. We can only build one extra. An offensive acid 1 is a oh good lord, its HP is really bad. We need to send these back. We're gonna need to repair these because right now, yeah, its hull points are actually really bad, which means that we need to go and make sure that gets upgraded as soon as possible. Let's increase the speed a little bit. I'm not a big fan of playing at normal speed. I think it is, I personally feel that is a little bit prohibitive, and the game itself is relatively slow as is, so we need to keep the pacing going here ever so slightly. As soon as we found these alien vessels, we should be okay. We're currently invading this here planet. Our drones, which are super powerful, 3.27, like a mid 3.5 up to almost a 7 is incredibly strong, considering these guys are 0.72. So if every single drone is worth 7 of these. And they're all industrial armies, which means they're basically, we can use steam engines to defeat these drones. Yeah, I'm sure you guys can. I'm sure that's right up on the top of the potential ways of combating things. I've also did some other experimentation, by the way. I cannot, if I set the rights of a species and I set the migration controls to enable, they will still get removed. Now, only a certain percentage of the population will be assimilated. So see right now, they're being force migrated, which is a low habitability modifier, I would guess. So it's a simulated world. For us, this is great, but for the local species, this is obviously a problem. So this is not something that we can do much about at the moment. We're also going to need to develop this world into a proper Borg world, so to speak. Oh, we've assimilated the Issadians, or Ildacidians. I don't even know how to pronounce that. But so we're going to go and rename these aliens anyway to something a little bit more useful. Regardless, we get an additional 1,000 Unity and 1,000 Society research, which is pretty staggering. One thing that is important to note, by the way, the traditions for the Borg have changed. Prosperity will give you automatic access to what is called the Trading Center. Expansion gives you 3 deep space stations, which are unique megastructures, which are highly fortified starbase and outpost stations, which extrude your borders, which is kind of nice. Discovery gives you automated exploration protocols, which is, I think, one of the best things in the game, because while I feel that the exploration mechanic in the game is great, having to manually navigate every single system is a huge pain in the ass. So, anomaly discovery chance plus 10 is nice. If we get the maximum of expansion, we get the core system by 2, which is nice. Some people were like, hey, why don't you go supremacy? It gives you an additional fire rate bonus. Yeah, but the individual ones are not all that interesting. Like Unity output per neighboring rival is increased by 10%. We cannot have rivals. Domination is all about it's about slaving and fleet levies and vassals and stuff like that. Harmony, imperial plantation, temples, which we can't do. Happiness, we don't have. Frontier grove, which we cannot have. Post-scarcity economics, which is not really a thing, and kinship, which is governing ethic attraction, which is not something we have either. In all honesty, when it comes to general traditions for the Borg, it's not really all that interesting. Capital buildings will now produce +1 Unity, or frontier outposts have a reduction of 75% of its original distance when it comes to influence, which is actually quite good. Ship cost by -15, especially with the Borg, who have very large ships. That cost a particular large amount of money or resources. That's something that we need to readdress. I'm quickly going to go and rename our planets. This is going to be Planet 58008. Punch that number in on a calculator and then turn it upside down for another reference. And that's Sustained Cutting Beam, number 2, or Transwarp Conduit 2. Which increases our warp speed and jump range by quite a lot. There's a bunch of fluff here, like transwarp factor and power grid output. Like that's all very nice, but it doesn't really do all that much. Sustained Cutting Beam is actually quite nice. It does a pretty large amount of damage. We do want to do that. Let's take a look here at Offensive Acid 1. So Offensive Acid 1 right now. Let's move you over towards this system. I still haven't seen any of these rogue drones. He says, as the rogue drones show up. Where are you guys going? You are going to Kong. So we need to go to Kong as well. This planet is a bit of a problem. We cannot build another patrol frigate. I know that energy is going to be problematic, which is why I get Perigium and not Baratheon Stone. Thank you. Get the armor spreader. Pulse Wave Torpedo is okay. It ignores 50% of armor, but this is mostly shield based anyway, so if we were going up against some of the more armor based enemies, then it would be good. We can clear some tile blockers. I'm not really interested in that. The Hands of the Queen, however, ship upkeep being reduced is actually quite good. Okay. Why is this not happening, by the way? Let's quickly pop over music, advisor, apply? Did I hit apply there? I don't know. Yeah, I did. Okay, so I'm just waiting for some of these Borg sound effects to come in because there's a bunch of them in the game that are actually quite good. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. We can build another patrol frigate, so we'll do that immediately. Why the hell are you over here? Oh, those are that's the Krenim. That's the Krenim capital worlds. They have 544 fleet power. They're actually stronger than we are. But as long as we keep close to the stations, we will be okay. Unum Complex 01 Alpha does not have... We've engaged the Borg. What the hell is this? Oh, we... No, actually the Borg... Okay, we need to get the science ship out of here because it is a bit of a problem. Thank you. Construction has been completed. That is very good. Let's go and build some outposts over here because I want to increase our mineral output. Right now it's at 40, which is pretty high considering we're only 7 years into the game, which is pretty early, really. You are moving into here. Where are these rogue drones? Okay, there's a small fleet of rogue drones over here. We can't take out the station at the moment, sadly. That is a bit of a shame. So what we'll do is we'll go back into Krenim space. Let's hope they don't have any of that timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly time technology yet. I doubt they will. I actually don't think any of the time weapon or the temporal ship, whatever it's called in the episode Year of Hell, episode 1, episode 2. Probably one of the best pieces of Star Trek Voyager ever made, together with the episode Scorpion, which ironically also involves the Borg. Yeah, the Krenim were obviously a big part of those episodes, with the main character being basically the main antagonist, not only being Red from that 70s show, and instead of kicking the Voyager's crew's ass like he should have been, basically being a mopey bastard who just only wanted to have his wife back because apparently he erased her from time. So yeah, sad times. Good episode. I'm sure that I've ruined some of the plot for everybody involved. Don't you worry. A lot of that particular part of the plot was looked at fairly early on in the episode, actually. We're gonna set this to evasive on fleet stance. Normally, I don't use evasive at all, but right now I think it will be a good idea. This ship is going to be set to auto explore. You are going to be set to... We got a hostile fleet coming in. Are they going to try to get to our station? That is the real question. Like, if they're going to try to engage our station, I'm not really all that worried. Where are you going? You're following the first offensive fleets. Fascinating. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to try to engage this planet. Get as many Borg drones on the ground as we can. We can actually afford another patrol frigate, so let's do that. Yeah, there they are. This is not a good idea. This is not a good engagement. So let's... Are they faster than us? Let's take a look here. What kind of sub-light speeds do they have? They just have microfusion thrusters. What do we have? We got omnidirectional impulse drives, so which is fine. Orbital hydroponic farm is not really all that great unless we run into food problems, which we won't. Roll 8 plus 15 out of 1,000. Let's increase our naval capacity. We're almost edging out anyway. So there are 11 of them, and there's only 6 of us. They are already outnumbering us quite a lot. So we're going to need to be very careful regarding the amount of... Let's set you... Your construction ship, right? Yeah. Let's set you the passive. Okay, and then let's warp out the fleets and get them into orbit here. So we should be able to warp out before they engage us. And we will. Good. Cool. And offensive asset number 2 is joining the fleet as well. So that's good. Very nice. Very nice indeed. And we're getting additional minerals from this planet here anyway. You should be working this one, I would say. Food, we're currently at plus 17. Energy is a bit of a problem, so we'll have you work this tile. I think that'll be a good way of doing things. These guys are all freshly assimilated. Let's get a reassembled ship shelter in place here. Okay. Yeah, 6 patrol frigates is not going to be enough to take down the Krenim, I'm afraid. We are in a pretty decent position because we can slap them down. We've taken one of their core systems. Where are you going? Where are you going? Yeah, I'm not interested in talking to you right now. They're going to Krenim Prime. So they're flying all the way back to Krenim Prime. We're going to give them that time to fly back as well. Maybe build something a little bit smaller just to keep them busy. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. Like, this is not space that we can get through. We're going for auto exploration right now, which is fine. How we're doing here on the influence department. How are we on leaders, actually? How many can we have? We're maxed out on leaders. And we got 4 of 10 who is governing a planet. An assimilated planet, even. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I don't really even think that we need governors to begin with, but whatever. And somebody mentioned as well, I need to build a ancestral data archive. Basically, so we can get 5 of every single piece of science up and running, which is going to be pretty important anyway. This small fleet's not going to be a big problem. Are we still building a single ship somewhere? We don't have the resources for it, really. We are outnumbered at Krenim by quite a lot, so let's go for the planet again. Start bombing procedures, and then try to assimilate the planet as fast as we can. If the Krenim try to dive us once again, we will go and disengage. We're going to move into Anthera. Okay, so the drones are currently trying to take out these stations, which is fine because it should be in range of the actual combat station that is there. Alright, let's have you attack Darren. Let's take a look whether or not the Krenim will engage us, or even try to engage us. There we go. I thought as much. So the real question is, will our... Where are you? Why are you trying to jump out? Don't do that. So, these drones, are they going to be engaged by the main station is the real question. Right now it's just a mining station. Like, I guess that is fine. Okay, let's get you into position. Like I said, let's hope that the Krenim themselves are not going to engage. Duranium polyweave armor, self-repairing hulls, that's pretty great. Trillium D, which gives us additional 50% armor. Trillium D. Yeah, that's kind of a classic case of giving the Vulcans the quote-unquote D, but that's a whole different discussion. It does give us additional armor, though. I am a big fan of that, so let's try and get that. Okay, so the drones are being stupid and they're engaging my station, so that's good. That's good for us. Okay, we are bombing this planet into submission. We haven't seen the Krenim in a little while. It looks like our fleet is too big for them to become a problem. Can we build a starbase? Yes. Should we build a starbase? Yeah, why not? Let's build that starbase up. We won't do anything with the unit complex for a little bit. Maybe look at the surface for a little bit. Okay, we managed to take down the drones, and they did almost 0 damage to our station. Like, marginal. In the meantime, how many troops do they have here? It's a large population as well. 2 defensive armies, a bunch of garrisons. They'll fold very quickly. Their defensive armies are not particularly interesting either, so that's not going to be a problem anytime soon. We're just waiting for their fortifications to fall, and then we send in our armies to do double damage, because that's how that works. Due to the miracle of that. Where the hell is... Okay. Yeah, let's take a look here. So garrisons are almost down. What's this? We have a Krenim ship. How big is this army? Like, if we can destroy their fortifications before the Krenim bunch into orbit, we can basically take the planet very easily. Okay, no. You are gonna stay on that fucking planet. Okay, surface. Okay, let's send in the drones. This may be a little bit on the tight side, but we can try. We've got a fortification bonus. They have increased their army size, which is a bit unfortunate. So let's move our ships out of there. Let's hope our armies are going to be strong enough. They should hypothetically be strong enough. I don't think that should be a problem. But we just need to get our fleet the hell out of here. Okay. Excellent. We got the hell out of there. Excellent job. Nuclear electronics labs. Lab modules for science ship neuroelectric force field transport hub. Let's go over to transport hub because it's cheap. Building upkeep and resettlement cost. Nanite projector is battleship designs. Nanite injector slowly repairs the hulls of all friendly ships in range. Monthly hull regeneration +3. That's actually really good. Really good indeed. The Krenim won't be able to do anything here. I think we're going to assimilate this world without too much opposition. Yeah, this shouldn't be a problem. They're folding like origami. Not that that's really a thing, but you get the general idea. Ooh, I'm really worried at the moment. Let's hope that we can get the hell out of Dodge here. Okay. Their Krenim are joining this system. Oh, we've gotten victory against the Krenim Empire. And that's great, because we took 2 of their planets. Apparently somehow got a faction within the Borg collective. I don't know exactly how that works, but whatever. Regardless, we've managed to assimilate the Krenim, and that's exactly what we want anyway. We're just waiting for our assimilation protocols to come into place, and that should be enough. Come on, assimilate them. Oh no, there's unrest on one of my planets. Oh no, what will I do? Okay, you're gonna farm this. I don't care about you. Oh, we got some Borg. At least one. Ooh, another close. They collect as assimilated individuals from the Krenim species for the first time. I beg to differ. It just means that we get free stuff. Frontier outpost upkeep has been reduced by 50%, which is really nice. Was it 50% or 25%? 25%. I think in the main game it's 50%. So it's all about the small things. Krenim assimilation. Sufficient individuals from the Krenim species have been assimilated that the marginal research benefits have reached a plateau. While bringing perfection to more Krenim species will still be to the advantage of the collective. We must extend ourselves to assimilate new races if we wish to improve on our perfection. And I agree. We need to assimilate others. And by others, I mean, you know, other species, not the stuff that hangs underneath a cow. Because according to my dearest girlfriend, I cannot pronounce the word the.
Nope, you can't.
I know. Impact range of influence cost has been reduced by 10. Interesting. Penalties due to distance from capital, but that doesn't really. Commercial sub. Okay. Let's go for transport conduit. I don't think that stuff influences us in any way, shape, or form. Let's go for this one. Colonization fever. It doesn't really impact us. I just want to get the expansion tree because of the +2 core sector systems. Because right now we're at pretty much maxed out, which is obviously a problem. We need to rename this planet. Planets. One moment. And I will call this planet the following. Perfect. In case you were wondering, yes, 3.14159 is a approximation of the form of pi, which of course is a mathematical term. Is it to define the radius of a circle? Pi? Is it it's a radius of a circle, right? You sure? I don't want to sound like an idiot towards my viewership, so that's kind of why I'm asking. Yeah, I know, but it's, you know, it's to show I care. Yeah. Because I care sometimes. Where was I? I was gonna build some spheres at some point, but in the meantime, we can expand our glory a little bit. We could do this. I need five pops, and I need a administrative place in order to upgrade all this stuff. Right now, like, the Borg do have some interesting growth mechanics. Like, they will grow steadily over time, but they will not be assimilation is probably a better way of dealing with them in general. Can I take this now? It has 10,000 hull points, which is pretty ridiculous. I don't think that we are in a good position right now to take out this station. What I will do, however, is add another star base to multiple locations, just to increase our naval capacity and some other items as well, but we'll see about that in a little bit. Hydroponic farm, we don't need. Army damage, we don't need. Tile blockers for the unit complex removal may be interesting. We'll take a look at that to see whether or not we can do anything with this. And in case you're wondering, yes, these Borg episodes are actually 30 minutes long and not the standard 20 minutes that we've been doing for all my other series. If you're wondering why, I don't know. I just feel like it sometimes, you know, it's a wonderful world. Where is this thing? You're building a frontier outpost. Why are you following this ship? You should not be following this, sir. Sir. Wow, there's 14 minerals in this system. And they're all garbage. Yeah, there's a 3 over here. I would have preferred if there was a 4 somewhere, but 29. Okay, so that's an additional amount of resources there. For some reason, my middle mouse button is no longer tracking whatever I want, so it's... Yes, the perfection is near. Yeah, these guys, yeah, they don't like us very much. Genocidal assimilator, apparently, is what we are. And apparently the Borg Collective is hostile to the Krenim Imperium and vice versa. Which is kind of funny, considering they are the first species we've ever met that were spacefaring. So, you know, whatever. Building cost, -5. Absolutely. Considering the amount of buildings that we're going to be building in general, that's a huge bonus, to say the least. Very nice. But that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for watching, as apparently my food is pretty much arrived. So, we're going to be back some other time. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, research complete. And remember, resistance is futile and each other.